প্ৰিয় শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকল, কৃষ্ণকান্ত সন্দিকৈ ৰাজ্যিক মুক্ত বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ বিদ্যায়তনিক দৃশ্য শ্ৰাব্য অনুষ্ঠানটিলৈ আপোনালোকক স্বাগতম জনাইছো। স্বয়ং প্ৰভা DTH চেনেল 20ৰ যোগেদি শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকলৰ অধ্যয়ন কাৰ্য অধিক মনোগ্ৰাহী আৰু ফলপ্ৰসূ হোৱালৈ লক্ষ্য ৰাখি বিভিন্ন বিষয় সামৰি আমাৰ এই বিদ্যায়তনিক অনুষ্ঠানটি সজোৱা হৈছে। আহকচোন প্ৰিয় দৰ্শকসকল, আমাৰ আজিৰ খণ্ডটিৰ মাজলৈ আগবাঢ়ো।
Welcome learners. Today we will be discussing about the first course of BBA program, that is Principle of Management and Organizational Behavior. So today I will be discussing about 3 units. The first 3 units, that is your Introduction to Management, Development of Management Thought and Functions of Management. So first we will be discussing about what is management. So it's a distinct process which consisting of planning, organizing, actuating, controlling the performance to determine and accomplish the objective by the use of people and resources. So management basically consists of getting things done through others. Managers are the person who accomplishes this task for the organization. Basically there are 3 levels of management: top level management, middle level management and lower level management. Depending on the type of task they performs, this category has been made. So top level managers were those people who were your CEO, then top level executives, board of directors. They formulate the policies for the organization, they do strategic planning. And then your middle level managers were those personnel who act as a bridge between the top level managers and the lower level managers. They performs more of a human relation task. Then comes our lower level managers. Lower level managers were those who basically performs the task of supervisors and technical tasks they performs. So they coordinates activities, they look after the production units. Now we will be discussing about the development of management thought, or we can say it as the theories of management. The theories of management can be generally classified under 3 approaches, that is your classical approach, neoclassical approach and modern approach. Frederick Winslow Taylor, he has first initiated the concept of scientific management. He is also known as the father of scientific management. Under classical approach, we will be discussing the 2 theories, that is Taylor's theory of scientific management and Henry Fayol's administrative management theories. Then under neoclassical theories, we will be discussing about Hawthorne experiments and behavioral science approach. Then under modern approach of management, we will be discussing about 4 theories. First, we will be discussing on contribution of Peter Drucker, then the quantitative or management science approach, and then system approach and contingency approach. So first we will be discussing on classical theory of management. The classical approach comprises of the development in management thought that marked the beginning of the systematic study of management. So first Taylor initiated this concept of classical theory of management. Then comes our neoclassical approach. The neoclassical approach consists of the development that occurred during the human relations era and the social science era. Under this approach, mostly the emphasis is given on the human relationships. And under modern approach, it is comparatively a recent development in the field of management. It makes use of various mathematical formulas, statistical tools and techniques, and economic models and engineering knowledge to study the management theories. So Taylor's scientific management theory, it can be described under 2 parts. One is your elements and tools of scientific management and principles of scientific management. Under the elements and tools of scientific management, he said that there should be separation between the planning and doing task. So he said the managers should be devoted to the planning task and the workers should be concentrated more on the doing task. He said that proper job analysis should be there to minimize the motion activities of the worker. Then there should be time study and motion studies. Then he also said that workers should be fairly paid because they were motivated to work when they get a proper remuneration. So under principle of scientific management, he stated that first thing is there should be replacement of rule of thumb with science. So it's not like that having something as we are doing it all the time. Instead of that, we should analyze the scientific reason for doing such work. Then he said that there should be harmony in group actions. In every organization, there should be harmony between the employees and the employers so that there won't be any conflict and people can work for better productivity. Then there should be cooperation and not individualism. People should be more goal oriented for the organization instead of thinking about their individual development. And then development of workers to the maximum extent. If we can properly arrange the activities of the workers, then we can think about the development of workers to the maximum extent. Then comes our next theory, that is Henry Fayol's administrative management, which is again a theory under classical approach. So the entire approach towards studying management by Fayol can be divided into three parts. First is your managerial qualities and training. He spoke about the qualities and training required for a manager. So under this there are 6 components comes. First is your physical fitness of the manager, then the mental abilities of the person, then moral ethics, whether he has got that particular quality, then educational qualification for the manager, and then technical knowledge about the particular task and whether he has got the experience to perform that task or not, that need to be considered. Then on the second component, he has described the general principles of management. Under these general principles of management, he stated 14 principles of management, and these were very popular in the management field. So Henry Fayol's 14 principles of management were, first is division of work. Fayol said that there should be division of work for all the employees. Depending on the skills and expertise, the work should be provided to them. Then the second component he spoke about is authority and responsibility. He said proper authority and responsibility should be delegated to each employee so that there won't be any ambiguity in performing the task. Next comes discipline. In every organization, to have proper growth and development, discipline is most essential component in the organization. The fourth component he spoke about is unity of command. There should be one person who provides the guidance to the subordinate. Otherwise, there will be role ambiguity and lower level employees will get confused if they get command from different managers. So there should be unity of command. Then unity of direction. Employees should perform only one task. So unity of direction should be there. Then the sixth principle he spoke about is subordination of individual interest to general interest. In every organization, there were certain general goals of the organization, and every individual also has their own goals. So they said there should be coordination between this subordination goal and the goal of the organization. Then the seventh component is about the remuneration of the personnel. If the workers will get fair salary, then only they will be motivated to work better, which also stated by Taylor. Then comes the centralization, concept of centralization. So Fayol said, depending on the type of organization, the amount of centralization and decentralization should be decided. Then a scalar chain. The work should flow in a single direction. that means from top to bottom. Order, he said that there should be an orderly flow of work. Then equality. Equality means there should not be any discrimination in doing the task. Then his 12th component is stability of tenure. He said that employees should be working in a longer period of time for more productivity in the organization. If people were not satisfied in the organization, they might quit the organization and go for the other organization. So it's a very important factor, and there is a need of stability of tenure. Then initiative. He said that people should be encouraged to create new things and innovative things in the organization. And the last principle is spirit de corps, that means team spirit. In every organization, the team spirit is most important factor, because if there will be any conflict in the organization, then the organization cannot grow. The third component of FOIL is elements of management. According to FOIL, management should be viewed as a process consisting of 5 elements, which actually represented the functions of management. These functions consist of planning, organizing, commanding, coordination, and control. So the concept of Taylor and FOIL were considered as a part of classical approach of management. Now we will be discussing about the neoclassical theory of management. The neoclassical approach to management consists of the development that occurred during the human relations era and the social science era. The classical theory was mainly criticized that it is more technical oriented, and they have neglected the human factor. So under this neoclassical approach, it's an upgradation with the human factor. It is basically humanistic in its approach and adds the study of behavioral science in the field of management. The famous Hawthorne experiment marked the beginning of the intensive and systematic analysis of human factor in the organization. So under neoclassical theory, we can spoke about this Hawthorne experiment. It's an experiment done in a lab where the researcher has studied whether the workers work better under low illumination or under proper illumination. But the finding was very surprising. They found that the employees prefer more on the studies originally looked into whether workers were more responsive and worked more efficiently under certain environmental conditions, such as improved lighting. The result found that the workers were more responsive to social factors, such as the people they worked with on a team and the amount of interest their manager is showing on them. So instead of the factors that researchers studied, that is illumination factor, they found that the behavioral factors, that it means the belongingness or whether their managers were looking for them, those factor influences more in productivity. And the behavioral science approach, it puts more emphasis on human resources in an organization. This approach can be understood from two perspectives. One is your interpersonal behavior approach and group behavior approach. Now we will be discussing on the modern approach of management. The modern approach of management is comparatively of recent origin. Under this approach, generally mathematical tools, statistical tools, formulas, and quantitative techniques were used to evaluate the performance of management. So one of the major contributors in this approach is Peter Drucker. He is considered as the father of modern scientific management. The main contributions of Drucker can be stated as: first thing is nature of management. So Drucker emphasizes more on innovation and creativity as the basic objective of management. So he treats management as a discipline having its own tools, skills, techniques, and approaches. So he said that instead of going for any stated specific techniques, you need to emphasize more on your innovations and creativity. So secondly, he said that about management functions. He said that management doesn't have any specific functions, but the managers need to follow certain rules to accomplish the task. So he has also decided the task of a manager. He said the first task of a manager is to setting the objective of the organization. Then decision making, depending on the type of managers they were, the level of managers which I have already discussed. So they need to take different types of decisions. Then their another task is organizing and motivating the employees. So next component he discussed about is the key areas for setting business objectives. Drucker lays great emphasis on the objective setting functions of the manager. Drucker has also said about the organizational structure. He emphasized three basic characteristics of an effective organizational structure. So these are: enterprise should be organized for performance. It should contain the least possible number of managerial levels, because higher the bureaucracy, there will be more time needed to perform a task. So he said there should be minimum level of managerial levels depending on the type of task they need to perform. It must make possible the training and testing of tomorrow's top managers. Then another function he spoke about is organizing aspect. So Drucker identified three major aspects concerning the organizing process. Those were your activity analysis, decision analysis, and relation analysis. Then he had incorporated another important factor, that is management by objectives. So it's a setting clear-cut objective for each individual in the organization, and the management by objectives, it is a participative type of objective setting process. Then he spoke about the organizational changes. So Drucker foresaw the rapid changes in the society due to the rapid change of technology. So he said the organizations need to be more dynamic in their activities. Now we will be discussing about the quantitative or management science approach. This approach is also known as the mathematical approach. This approach visualizes management as a logical entity, the action of which can be expressed in terms of mathematical symbols, tools, then relationships and measured data. The main feature of this approach were the management can be regarded as a problem-solving mechanism with the help of mathematical tools and techniques. So they have tried to quantify the things. Then it covers decision making, system analysis, and some aspects of human behavior also. Again, we can say that from the classical, there is some upgradation in the neoclassical theory, and then again in the modern approach, it's an upgradation of the neoclassical theory, where all the components were considered. Here, operation research, mathematical tools, simulation models, etc. are the basic methodologies to solve the managerial problems. So under this modern approach, another approach is system approach. Here everything is considered in totality. The system approach of management provides an integrated approach of managing and considers management in its totality. It rejects the simplistic approach of managerial analysis and suggests uniformity of management of an organization with the demands of the organizational environment and the members' needs. Then the last approach is your contingency approach, or we can also say it as situational approach. So under this approach, it tries to adequately fill the gap between organization and its environment. So here it is considered that depending on the type of situation, the nature and functions of management varies. This approach takes into account not only the given situation but also the influence of given solutions on the behavior pattern of an organization. Then we will be discussing about the functions of management. In later part, we will be discussing briefly about each functions of management. Today I will be giving you just an overview of what are the different functions of management and how it is started. So earlier I have already said that Henry Fayol has stated some elements of management, or those were considered as functions of management. Those were your planning, organizing, command, coordination and control. Then Lothar Gulick, he has classified functions of management by using some alphabets, that is POTSCORB, which refers to planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordination, reporting and budgeting. You can see that it's clear Gulick's classification is almost similar to the Fayol's classification. Only the new thing is that he has divided the function of controlling into reporting and budgeting. So now we will be discussing these factors one by one. First, we will be discussing about planning. Planning is concerned with the determination of objectives to be achieved and the course of actions to be followed to achieve them. Before starting any action, one has to decide how and where it has to be performed. Thus, planning implies decision making as to what is to be done, how is to be done, when it is to be done and by whom it is to be done. Planning can be of your short-term planning or long-term planning. So in every organizations there were certain strategic plannings which were generally developed by top level managements. Then there will be some short-term planning to perform the day-to-day activities. So which can be done either by your middle level managers or maybe by your lower level managers. So next function of manager is your organizing. Organizing involves bringing together the manpower and material resources for the achievement of objectives laid down by the enterprise. Organizing basically is your arranging the resources in proper way. So organizing involves the following process: determining and defining the activities involved in achieving the objectives laid down by the management. Then grouping the activities in a logical pattern. Then assigning the activities to specific positions and people. And then delegating authority to their positions and people so as to enable them to perform these activities assigned to them. The next function is your staffing. So it's very important that choosing the right people for the right job. Otherwise the productivity will go down. So staffing functions basically involves proper selection of candidate for the proper position. Then proper remuneration. If they don't get the proper remuneration, then they might go to the other organization, which will be again harmful for the organization. Then there need to be proper training and development, because time to time as the technology changes, we need to train and upgrade ourselves. Otherwise again the organizational will face lots of problem. Then proper evaluation of personnel, whether the employees were satisfied with the organization or not, whether any upgradation is needed. So all these things needs to be evaluated on time to time basis. Then comes the function of controlling. Controlling is basically checking whether we have reached the goal which we have already stated in the planning stage. So controlling is concerned with seeing whether the activities have been or being performed in conformity with the plans or not. According to Hammeran, control is the process of checking to determine whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals, and acting if necessary to correct any deviations. If we have not achieved as per the plan, then we need to go for the corrective actions. That means where we have done mistake, we need to check it. The last function of management is coordination. There need to be coordination among the employees and the employers so that the organization works in harmony. A modern enterprise consists of a number of departments such as production, purchase, sales, finance, personnel, etc. And there is need for the management to see that the department function in such a way that they move harmony towards the realization of the stated objectives of the enterprise. This function of harmonious blending of the activities of different specialists, also of different departments, for the achievement of the desired goal is called as coordination. Now, as we have already said that there are 3 levels of management, that is top level, middle level and lower level management. So they require different types of skills to perform their task. Those skills can be again categorized as conceptual skill, human skill and technical skill. And every level of management, whether they need different types of skills. The top level manager required more conceptual skill compared to the middle and lower level managers. Then again, the middle level managers required human skills more to act as a mediator between the top level and lower level managers. Then the lower level managers, they required more technical skill to perform the task. Thank you very much.
ইমান সময় আমি স্বয়ংপ্ৰভা DTH চেনেল 20 যোগে সম্প্ৰচাৰিত কৃষ্ণকান্ত সন্দিকৈ ৰাজ্যিক মুক্ত বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ বিদ্যায়তনিক অনুষ্ঠানটিৰ আজিৰ খণ্ডটি উপভোগ কৰিলো। এই বিদ্যায়তনিক অনুষ্ঠানটিৰ জৰিয়তে শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকল নিশ্চয়কৈ ভালেখিনি উপকৃত হৈছে। পুনৰ আন এটি বিষয় লৈ আমি আপোনালোকৰ মাজলৈ আহিম। নমস্কাৰ।